We're now going to speak to Dr. Saya Aziz, who's an Australian anaesthesiologist who is currently on a volunteering mission at al-Shifa hospital in Gaza City. She joins us from there. Many thanks for joining us on Al Jazeera. Firstly, can I start by asking you, how would you describe what is happening around you in Gaza City in terms of the daily bombing and the sheer number of casualties arriving at the hospital every day?
Hi, yes, my name is Dr. Saya Aziz. I'm an Australian anaesthetist. We've been here for almost 5 to 6 days now. I lose count, but situation is catastrophic. Like I don't think anyone has seen anything quite like it. Even people who've been in military overseas have never seen anything like this. The bombing is daily. I mean, I'm having to sit next to a window so I can get as best Wi-Fi as possible, but you'll be able to hear the drones, the bombings. It's essentially constant. There's either quadcopters. You hear the Apache helicopters firing in the distance. You'll hear the loaded robotic bombs that basically shake the ground. Like you'll feel the ground shaking. Your walls rattle. I mean, I'm in the operating theatre, which is a makeshift consulting room that somehow has been made into an operating room, and you'll feel the walls shaking, rattling. And if you don't even feel it, you'll hear your eardrums basically pop. And it's just catastrophic. And then you'll hear a big, huge bomb, and then you'll know within 5-10 minutes you're going to get a mass casualty. You'll hear the wailing, the screams, the chaos. Family members bringing in the patients. It's a bloodbath. Like you'll walk into the resus area and your eyes don't know where to look. It's bits of flesh everywhere, dangling bits of toes, muscle, tendons. It's just, and the horror of it all. You'll see limbs missing, 3 limbs. I started off one of the first days and I'd never seen anything quite like it, thinking it's hopeless. And then the following days I saw many more. I've lost count of how many multiple amputations I've done in one patient. But the worst thing is that these patients are alive when this is happening. And we take them into theatre, they're alive, they're bleeding to death. There's no words I can explain to transfer that imagery, the smell, the fear, the gunpowder that you're smelling, the dust that comes with that.
Dr. Aziz, it is, by the sounds of it, almost beyond imagining, and thank you very much for going as far as you can and explaining what is impossible for many of us to imagine. I mean, people around you, hundreds of thousands of them have been fleeing Gaza City due to the daily bombing and Israeli army evacuation orders. What's the situation of the patients and the medical teams at the hospital? Do you, for instance, expect to be displaced south as well?
You walk through the hospital and there's skeletal healthcare worker staff, and the ones who have turned up are essentially risking their lives to come. It's not just a saying they're risking their lives. I had one anaesthetic assistant who walked 4 hours from the south. He woke up at 5 a.m. to get here for 9 o'clock and had a 24-hour shift, kept going all night, a foot that he'd hurt because he was digging his tent for his family and children that he'd left in the south to set up, and then couldn't bring it upon himself to not come back to work because he said if it wasn't him, who is going to turn up for these patients? Every soul to them matters. Like I turn up and I think, oh, this is hopeless, but I've been here, a few days. They have been doing this for 2 years on and off. Continuous. And if their colleagues can't turn up, they're stuck, it's too dangerous, they have to carry on to do a 48 hours. Some of them done 72 hours. And it's not like they have any time to break. The theatres are running constantly. We have 3 operating theatres, that's it. And they're makeshift consult rooms. It was just consult rooms that they redone up after the main hospital, which had 25 theatres, completely bombed out. The equipment, it's something I'm familiar with, but it's all broken because it's been in constant use for 2 years. There's no maintenance. They were delighted that I'd managed to bring a suitcase of things, but they need more than a suitcase. They need hundreds of trucks worth of medical aid. But aside from that, bombs need to stop, rattling the buildings, terrifying people. The first 3 days, we had 3 bombings outside of al-Shifa, literally outside of the hospital. And we have to get out of the hospital to get to the accommodation. Where we walk, to get to the accommodation? Was it bombed? There was blood, strewn bits of body parts there. It's disgraceful what the world is standing by.
Dr.
And we're
Aziz.
sitting here watching this. You know,
Dr. Aziz, I mean, I can clearly hear the frustration in your voice. I wanted to ask you this, because you said previously that the healthcare system in Gaza is not collapsing, it has collapsed, and the situation is cataclysmic. Your words. I mean, help us understand why you said that while the world watches on, as you say.
You walk through the corridors, patients swarm you, rightfully so. No one has seen them. They're trauma patients. In any other world, Western world, even other worlds, they would stop to treat each and every patient. Each and every patient needs intensive care. They need to come back to theatre. These people, I literally just take them out into the corridor and have no idea what happens to them after. There's no monitoring. The patient families have to go administer the blood. They're phenomenal. I show them once, and they absolutely know. They tell me how it's done. Look, in the theatre, like, there's flies everywhere in the theatre. There's no air conditioning. We're sweating. The suction is just filthy. Everything is filthy. There's no disinfectant. I can't even clean the patients who are covered in dust, gunpowder. They've got burns. We have no gauze. Gauze was invented in Gaza. I have no gauze to clean it. I wish I'd bought a couple of towels, cloths, so I can wash the patients with. I have no fluids to clean them with. I have no pain relief to give them. It's
a devastating.
My heart breaks. I get them out.
A devastating lack of equipment, and it must be extremely and keenly frustrating for you, whose job it is obviously is to save lives. That's what you were trained to do. What do you fear will be the psychological impact of the current medical and humanitarian crisis on the local population, as well as medical teams of which you are a part, trying to provide care? I mean, I understand from one of your colleagues that they recently had to perform a C-section on a mother who was decapitated. It's beyond, as I said, imagining.
Oh, that is one of many stories. I mean, you see a little toddler who's basically exsanguinated from their neck. You'll see, we had one of the nursing staff in the hospital. He, his wife, and all of his children passed away. Only one surviving child, an 11-year-old, with, complete burns to his face. And, I couldn't even give him any pain relief. It's impossible. He had no IV access. And, he kept saying, stop. He could, his name was Mohammed, and he was like, I could see my father. I said, goodbye to him. And he has no surviving members. These children are going to have no one. They don't have a mother and father. No one would look after them like a mother and father. He's burnt. The case before him was a 15-year-old, complete destruction of his genitalia. He's got nothing. Nothing is remaining. Infection with his false urinary passage, his broken legs. And his uncle was saying, look, I don't know, how am I going to move when I can't move this boy? He's literally on a mattress. Like, if they're lucky, they've got a mattress for me to put them on and, strewn them in the corridors. I don't know where they end up. They end up in this tin shed, which is 100 degrees. You literally go there sweating. They've got no IV fluids, no antibiotics. It's disgusting. It's disgusting and disgraceful that humans are being treated in this way. I felt like when you walk in, it's like an abattoir. It's unacceptable. This has to stop. And the locals have been seeing this for 2 years. I turn up and say it's hopeless, and yet their resilience, their fortitude, and their insistence that they need to save every single soul. And with the minimal equipment, I am shocked that I have managed to give them some semblance of an anaesthetic and get them through it. Blood. We get the patient's family. The patient's family have to walk in day, like the hospital's been bombed. They have to go find the blood bank, get the blood, come back, and like, in what world do patient families have to transfer patients out of the operating theatre? There's no sterility. They're coming with their dirty shoes into the operating theatre, but we've got no staff. It's skeletal staff. But in spite of that, like, they're working at the speed 10 times of what any fast functional trauma centre would do. Like, I'm absolutely shocked. And yet they work. And then at the same time, you can see the deep sorrow, stress, The anxiety levels are so high. They're all worried about displacement. What are they going to do? Simple things like they said in the 2 years their children have grown. There's no shoes. There's no clothes. They've grown from being I'm a mother myself. I've got young children. You know that they grow within 6 months.
Of course.
Sorry.
No. Dr. Aziz, I think it's been hugely important to hear. I think it's fair to say both the story of horror, which you've explained very clearly, and its impact on you, the medical staff, of the people of Gaza, but also the heartbreak as well, on many levels. We deeply appreciate your time. Dr. Saya Aziz there, who's an Australian anaesthesiologist currently serving in Gaza City.
Thank you.
Don't miss out, get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news and expert insights. Like, share, stay ahead.